In 1939, the world's most powerful nations went to war. 70 million people would die, entire cities would be erased, and the terrifying truth, almost every single thing that caused it, was completely preventable. This is the story of how humans failed, over and over until it was too late. To understand World War II, you have to go back to 1918. World War I just ended, Germany lost, and the winning countries, Britain, France, America, sat down to decide Germany's punishment. What they came up with was called the Treaty of Versailles, and it was absolutely brutal. Germany had to accept full blame for the war. They had to pay 132 billion gold marks in damages, money they simply didn't have. They lost 13% of their land and 10% of their population. Their army was shrunk to 100,000 men. The German people were furious. They felt humiliated, and humiliated people do dangerous things. Then in 1929, things got even worse. The Great Depression hit. Banks collapsed, factories closed, millions of Germans lost their jobs overnight. People were starving in the streets. Germany, which was already struggling to pay war debts, was now completely broken. The government looked useless. People were desperate for someone, anyone, to fix it. And that's exactly when a man named Adolf Hitler showed up. He was a passionate, angry speaker who told the German people exactly what they wanted to hear. "This is not your fault," he said. "You were stabbed in the back by your enemies. I will make Germany great again." People were desperate, and desperate people believe desperate things. By 1933, Hitler's Nazi Party had won enough votes to take control of the German government. Within months, he made himself dictator. He banned all other political parties. He took control of the military. He started rebuilding Germany's army in direct violation of the Treaty of Versailles. And the other European nations? They just watched. This is one of the most important parts of the story. Britain and France had a policy called appeasement. Basically, they thought if they just gave Hitler what he wanted, a little more land here, a little more there, he'd be satisfied and there'd be no war. In 1938, Hitler demanded part of Czechoslovakia. Britain's Prime Minister Neville Chamberlain flew to meet him. He gave Hitler what he wanted. He came home waving a piece of paper saying, "Peace in our time." 1 year later, there was a world war. On September 1st, 1939, Hitler's armies invaded Poland. It was fast, it was brutal, and it was the moment everything changed. Britain and France had promised to protect Poland. They had two choices: break that promise and look weak, or declare war on Germany. On September 3rd, 1939, 2 days later, Britain and France declared war on Germany. World War II had officially begun. But here's the real question: was this all inevitable? Many historians say yes. The Treaty of Versailles created the perfect breeding ground for extremism. The Great Depression gave Hitler his audience, and appeasement gave him the confidence to keep pushing. Every step of the way, the world had chances to stop this, and didn't. It's one of history's most painful lessons. What followed was the deadliest conflict in human history. Over 6 years of fighting, 30 countries involved, over 70 million people killed. That's more than the entire population of the UK today. Entire cities like Dresden, Warsaw, and Hiroshima were wiped from the map. The Holocaust killed 6 million Jewish people and millions of others. The world was never the same again. By 1945, Germany was defeated. Hitler was dead. Japan surrendered after atomic bombs destroyed Hiroshima and Nagasaki. The war was over, but the world was left with a question that echoes to this day. How do we make sure this never happens again? The answer was the United Nations, created in 1945 to give countries a place to talk instead of fight. So that's how World War II started, a chain of failures, anger, and missed chances that changed everything. Now you might be wondering, what actually happened during the war? Who were the key battles? How did the Allies finally win? That's exactly what we're covering next time. Subscribe so you don't miss it. And drop a comment. Do you think World War II could have been prevented? Let's debate.